correct.
All right.
Hey, Day Miami family. So here we are. We're back, and we are continuing our session with what's happening in the city of Miami.
With our new shirts.
So,
Look at Manny's new shirt. Yeah. Just wanted to do a shout out.
they made me put a shirt on this.
I want one of those.
Emilio, we're going to get you one. Go ahead, Manny.
So listen, we're here. We're continuing the edition, of course, that we first did our first round, and we are glad to have Emilio Gonzalez back with us now in the runoff. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think we helped you out a little bit with
I think
that
so.
runoff.
I think so. Thanks
You're
a lot.
Mr. Viral now at
The good, thing
305.
is, the good thing is that everybody had questions, and everybody kept on, asking. Everybody loved the fact of how we brought in Commissioner Higgins. She came in already now, and she expressed her platform for her runoff. And we want to do the same with you, Emilio. We want you to tell the viewers and the listeners we're in a runoff. Number one, I always say, in the world of turnout, but the first one, it was a good number for the city of Miami.
Absolutely.
You know,
10,000 more people voted.
Which it's not in other history. It's not the best, but at least it was good that 10,000 people really came out. And I think that really we're one of the things that we like to do in the show is. Listen, whoever you're going to vote for, but go out and vote.
Correct.
Because it's the only way anybody's going to make a difference. Everybody sometimes talks all this shit. Oh, this guy came out, this lady came out. Did you vote? Did you
a lot
vote?
of interaction, too, with your posting, a lot of comments.
100%.
No,
engagement.
and Miami is a city that is really made up of people that come from countries where you can't vote or where your vote doesn't have a meaning. We need to get people to go out and
Or
vote.
they voted and they said it was stolen.
Exactly. Almost like in Miami.
You said that. Okay. So listen, Emilio, let's just get right into this. We got the runoff. When's the date of the runoff? When can people start expecting a...
Well, no, the mail-in ballots are dropping now.
dropping.
I've actually gotten them already.
Okay.
And then we have early voting, which is December 5, 6, 7. And then the 8th we're off. And then the actual election day is December the 9th.
December the 9th. Okay. So everybody get that. It's December the 9th and early voting and everything. So then let's just jump in between Kiko and I. We're going to ask you these great questions that people have sent. Go ahead, brother.
Manny's the mayor expert, but the most questions that we got on the post was, you've kind of been there before. Nothing really happened. A little bit more of the same. Emilio is experienced, but he didn't do anything when he was there. Can you explain a little bit on why people say that and what's the process and what's the real truth to that?
Well, listen, the process is actually not that complicated. People say that because they don't have information. The city manager is appointed by the mayor, but he essentially works for the city commission. You execute whatever the voting members of our legislature, which our commission, dictate. That's it. Now, on many opportunities, I had an opportunity to opine. If you look at, for example, the proceedings and all of the email traffic that came out during this famous court case a couple of years ago against the city from the owners of Ball and Chain, my staff and I were constantly working, playing defense, making sure that people didn't get ahead of themselves, making sure that we weren't going to break the law or cross a line that was unethical or immoral. Those things are behind the scenes. But in front of the cameras, if you will, there's not much the manager can do. The manager just salutes the flag and he has to lean on the city attorney. Is this legal? Yes. Okay, if they want to do this and it's legal, then we have to execute. Now, which is quite frankly is part of the reason why I'm running, because I realize that to affect any change, you have to be either the mayor or an elected member of the commission. So my goal is to go into the city of Miami with everything I know about being the manager, what I know about the manager's powers and the manager's limitations,
Right.
And move the city forward.
Because then, in other words, so everybody can really, really understand this. Could there be instances that you wanted to, let's say, change permitting or change this or change whatever? You have to take that to the city commission.
The city commission votes on everything.
On everything.
Even something as simple as a small contract that we let out on an RFP. Kiko wins. Well, you don't really win until the commission decides that you've won, and then it's up to the manager to execute that contract.
Yeah, because it's good for people to explain this, because I always tell people, even with the experience that one has in local government, federal government, whatever government, some people out there don't understand the process,
right?
And I think that's very, very important to explain. So, let's say come December. You're voted as the new mayor of the city of Miami. what people are now in this whole thing of my first 100 days.
Right.
I want to ask now, what's going to happen the first week? What is Emilio going to do the first week as mayor of Miami?
Once I'm confirmed as mayor, first I have to pick a city manager.
Okay.
Okay, because the city manager is going to be my clone. No daylight between us. He's going to run, or she going to run, the day-to-day operations of the city. I want to immediately establish a mayoral task force on permitting.
That was huge. I think comments that we got.
I think it's huge. Look, permitting is destroying our small businesses, which in turn is what provides jobs in our city. Okay, it's a very simple formula, and the fact that 100%, and I want to reiterate that 100% of every small, medium, and big business interest here in the city have told me permitting is broken. Okay, and each one of those people represents jobs. I've had people tell me they want to expand, but they can't. They're going to expand in Fort Lauderdale. I have people tell me they're thinking about closing shop. I have people tell me they've waited 5 years to get a permit so they can open.
Yeah.
There have been businesses that close before they open, because once you sign a contract on a location, you're paying rent. But if you have to wait 3 years for a permit, at some point
No,
you're
you
running out of
bankrupt
money.
people.
So listen, there's got to be a better way. And in my head right now, and this sounds really drastic, I firmly believe that having no permitting system, listen to me, no permitting system will work better than what we have now.
How is that going to work?
Somebody can talk to me about that. But what we have now does not work. It isn't even like it needs tweaking. No, we need to start over.
It's just constantly the same topic.
I think, also, Emilio, I think there has to be some stuff like, simple things that people just want to maybe put a chain link fence, or you want to do something, the simplest thing that a family of
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
You have a single family home.
Correct.
And all of a sudden you feel like you have to take care of abuela, and you want to add an addition to your home. Mm-hmm. You get a contractor,
which happens a lot.
Okay, you get a contractor who's licensed and bonded, an engineer who's licensed and bonded, an architect who's licensed and bonded. Do it. At that point, the city should just be the repository of the plans. You're not going to build a skyscraper. You're not putting in a grease trap. You're building an addition to your single-family home for abuela. That should be it. There's also other things you can do, like, if we don't respond to a permit request in 120 days, consider it approved. I mean, these are drastic things, but what I'm telling you,
It'll get it done though.
Right now, nothing's happening. We have ground to it isn't even glacial speed. We're just ground to a halt. Yeah. And then you think you've done everything permit wise, and then an inspector comes and says, no, you didn't do this right. No, but Pepe last week. Oh, Pepe's not here now. And then you start over. And then you start over. And so the horror story. I'm telling you, I'm almost thinking that we could pitch this to Hollywood as a sitcom. A
Netflix series.
If it wasn't sad, I think
the city's been in the scope for Netflix.
Imagine a sitcom called Miami Permitting. Okay, and every day is an adventure as to why I can't open my store, why you're going to close down my store.
Yeah.
What you mean? I need a grease trap? Wait a minute, but I'm not cooking. No, but you need. These are the things that drive you crazy. The other thing, and I've said this before, the U.S. Constitution has 27 amendments. The city of Miami has over 1,600 ordinances. Think about that. We're probably breaking an ordinance right now sitting here. Ordinance review. Let's take a look at our ordinances. How many of these do we really need? How many of these are outdated?
That's crazy. It's so simple.
2025 Miami is not 1970s Miami, but we are organized and we operate as 1970s Miami. And that's my message is we got to move forward. We got to move forward fast. So first 100 days, the things that we can tackle quickly, permitting, procurement reform, right? Everybody puts in an RFP, you never win because all you need is a good lobbyist and the commission has to vote on it. Hey, you know what? You want an RFP? No, just a minute. The commission has to vote on it. It'll take years for the commission to vote on a contract because so-and-so says you didn't do this right, because this guy says you didn't cross your T. You went on vacation to Cuba, therefore you're disqualified.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of things that we got to tackle immediately. The other thing that I want to do is I want to put a marker down. This sounds kind of trite, but I want every office in the city of Miami to have prominently posted the Citizens Bill of Rights. Miami residents have a Bill of Rights. It is actually in our county charter. These are the things that you can expect as a resident of the city of Miami. I'm going to stop the weaponization of government day one. Wow. Day one. The city is not in the business of putting people out of business or fining people to the point that they lose their homes.
They can't do anymore.
Okay? Enough of that.
Listen, I saw that, and I saw the post. You got recently endorsed by Donald Trump.
Yes, sir.
He also had Mandavi in his office the other day, and they were talking back and forth. And Donald Trump was saying that he's going to help and work with the mayor no matter their differences. Will we get some of that help too? Now that Trump endorsed you, maybe some of the help that they want to do in New York, will we also get some in Miami?
Look, that the president endorsed me. I was honored that he endorsed me. Anytime you get an endorsement from a president,
of course,
you have to feel honored. I mean, immigrant kid running
for
for mayor of Miami, the president of the United States says, "You're my guy." The expectation is there that whatever we need, the city of Miami has so many major issues in front of it that we're never going to be able to do it by ourselves. Our budget won't get there. We're going to have to rely on the governor. When's the last time the mayor of Miami had a sit down with the governor or with the president to talk about city issues? My goal is to be the mayor of Miami. I have no intentions of running for anything. I'm not going to be the secretary of whatever. I'm not going to be ambassador to, Ouagadougou. No, by the way, that's a city. It's a city in Africa. I want to be the very best mayor of the city's had. And just a caveat there. If you look on Wikipedia, Miami's had 44 mayors. I will be the 45th. But it's not just the 45th. I'm going to be the mayor that tackles the big issues. People are going to say, that's the guy. Yes, there are some ministerial things you do as mayor, but I'm going to surround myself with a top-notch staff, and we're going to tackle the heavy, heavy issues in this city. And we're going to tackle them once and for all. Because if we're not willing to do the heavy lifting, why bother?
Yeah.
I'll stay home, watch my grandson play basketball.
So you would have some conversations with Trump on how to help us a little bit more, right?
I will have conversations with everybody that is willing to help.
A little bit more federal too, But to Emilio's point, you got to, you can grab the state involvement as well.
Yeah.
Everybody has a checkbook, right? And
Yeah.
if they're willing to open that checkbook for the residents of the city of Miami, I'm in front of them.
And the fact that the city of Miami is always at the forefront of everything, of the events happening all over,
right,
in the city, So, because we have we have the F1, that we have this, that we have that.
The city of Miami has made huge leaps and bounds when it comes to, we're an international sports city. No other city in the world has a number of professional sports that we do. We're an international cultural city, an international city of high cuisine. We're an international medical city. It's amazing. Our medical district here attracts people from around the world. We have all of these. We're a financial and banking center. We're a diplomatics. Miami is the third largest diplomatic city in the United States. Okay, but where we haven't grown and we haven't matured and we haven't developed has been our local politics. We're still stuck in 1970s, and we need to catch up. Our local political system has to catch up so that not only all these international players that come here are taken care of, but the people that live here are taken care of, and they're the ones that have been forgotten. The people that live 5 blocks in from Brickell, they're scratching their head saying, "Hey, what's in it for me? When am I getting something here?"
Emilio, do you think that also that works out with the fact of what the voters voted for in these new charter things with the terms, with term limits, which gives it an opportunity for, let's be realistic here, new blood, to start coming into these people in these areas.
Miami's always had term limits, right? We've had 2 terms. You wait out a term, and then you can come back, and that worked out well with what I consider, I'll give you a perfect example, a person like Willie Gort, who's a gentleman, a guy that came in.
100%. The whole Gort family is.
But you know what? Family. But you know what? The voters voted. To your point, hey, we want term limits. Salute the flag, which is one of the reasons why I went to court, because the city commission did something that was completely against the charter. The charter calls for voters to decide when we have election, and for voters to decide how long the term of office is. I corrected them. Okay. Now, if they put this back on the ballot and it passes, I salute the flag. But we got to do it right. We are a city of laws, and our residents right now view city government. They view us as kind of like a predator state, right? Everybody in the city government is the predator, and all the residents are the prey. And we're just sort of hunkered down, waiting for code to come by our business, or for somebody to no. It has to work the other way. The commission and the mayor work for the residents. It's not a hard solution.
Yeah.
So that everything we do up there should always have residents first, and what I use, families first. What's in it for our residents? If you want to do this big, humongous project over here, great. I love it. If it's a huge building, wonderful. It'll increase our tax base. But what's in it for the residents?
What's in it for the residents? If your opponent wins or has a chance of winning, what's in it for the resident? What happens if she gets elected?
Look, she has I'll be honest with you.
And my second question, I don't mean to interrupt you. I've seen some of your social media. Some of the posts say lies, like she's lying. Explain to us a little bit what's she lying about.
Sure. Look, my opponent has from day one cast herself as, I believe the tagline is, the trusted Democrat. Okay, this is a nonpartisan race. You've never seen Emilio Gonzalez, the badass Republican. Mm-hmm. It doesn't exist. I've tried to honor our system, but
it's become already partisan.
It has.
It's become already
regrettably.
Yeah,
regrettably. But if she's going to be the trusted Democrat, then she's going to have to own everything that the National Democratic Party is doing. Everywhere in the United States where a Democratic mayor has taken over has been a disaster. An absolute. Look at Los Angeles. My company is headquartered there. It's like a war zone. San Francisco, Portland. By the way, Seattle just elected a socialist mayor who has more executive power than Mandami in New York. Just go across the country. Minneapolis, New York City, Michelle Wu in Boston has declared war on DHS. So what that tells me is that there's a national agenda that her party will probably want her to push and promote because she's not going to go against her party. That's my biggest issue. Okay. And you were saying what about the lies?
Yeah, I see some of your posts where you post Higgins is lying.
Sure. I get these mailers that say, well, I oversaw corruption at the airport. Demonstrably false. I was the airport director for 5 years. In fact, I put an end to corruption at the airport. I put people in prison for corrupt practices at the airport. And if somebody has evidence that I was involved in a corrupt practice, let's go see the FBI right now. Let's do it. I'm ready. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. That I oversaw the dysfunction in the city of Miami. I was the manager. I just explained the role of the manager. But you know what? When I was no longer the manager, I was witness number one at a trial which exposed corruption in the city of Miami. Also, my staff and I in the city worked long and hard to make sure that we mitigated whatever boberia comes out of the elected officials, which, by the way, was quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But we did that behind the scenes. The manager is not empowered to stand or to sit at a dais and say, you are wrong. I'm not going to do this. So again, a total. Listen, this is either a total fabrication or they just don't know. But in the case of the airport, they do know because she was the head of the airport commission while sitting in the county.
Okay, fair enough. One of your titles and things of your campaign is keeping Miami safe.
Exactly.
Can you keep Miami safe better than your opponent?
Absolutely. Look, I've worked with our police officers. I've worked with our firefighters. We probably have more police officers right now than in the history of the city of Miami. So the issue is not one of numbers, it's deployment. Where are they? How many people are at headquarters? Are we spread out evenly? Are we concentrating on high crime areas? Those are the questions you ask. Like I said, I've been there and I've done that. So I know exactly how to start, to your point, from day one.
Yeah.
We just recently had...
Because I'm saying everybody says 100 days, but I'm saying, really, as soon as you get in there...
that was the back end.
Look, there's no 100 days. This is going to be like day 3.
I had my pig roast, on Saturday. It was.
Did you get a permit? Did you have a permit?
Well, yeah, it was for the PBA that we partner up with.
Oh, did they have a permit?
It was for the Love Fund. So it was all for fallen officers?
It was Dade County. It was Tropical Park.
Yeah.
Much easier to work with.
Jaramillo's family in there, actually.
Okay.
They showed up.
Good.
Our fallen officers. What's your take on that, and how can we protect our officers? Because we've lost 3 in the last week.
Listen, we protect our officers by bringing the hammer down on people that would take our officers' lives. Okay,
Yes.
I consider the death of a police officer beyond the pale. I mean, this is beyond a murder. Okay, this affects us all. These people put their lives on the line every day to protect us, and then when somebody takes them out, all of us should feel this. And I'm a firm believer that if you kill a police officer, at a minimum, you should be facing the death penalty. Period.
100%.
Okay, you've got to put a marker down and say, you know what, and we're not going to go to court, and we're not going to see if maybe you didn't have enough mother's milk as a kid. And no, you killed a cop. Okay, and that cop is there. That's a thin blue line. That cop is there to protect all of us. When you shoot at him, you shoot at us.
Okay. I like that.
Oh, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, those are people out there, trying to protect us.
Yeah.
Emilio, one of the biggest things that I think about now in runoffs is the people that did not vote for you the first time.
Sure.
What message do you think you can give those people now and say,
sway their vote?
I know you voted for X, Y, Z, but this is why you should now vote for me.
That message is coming to me. I'm not saying that message. People are coming to me in droves, and saying, I didn't vote for you because I was sending a protest vote against 1 or 2 people that were running. I didn't vote for you because I voted for so-and-so out of family loyalty. Or this guy did a favor for me one day. Or I really like him, but I know he can't win, but I voted for him anyway. Those people are coming to me now. I'm telling you, in droves, and saying, I'm voting for you. This is serious stuff. We're down to the final.
Yeah.
Count on my vote. We're in.
I saw it in the comments. I saw some people say, he's the answer. He's the guy that can get things. There's always negative, but I did see a lot of people that I didn't see before. So, which kind of goes into what you're saying.
No.
People now know you a little bit. They didn't know you, and through our podcast, and now this one.
Yeah. Listen, and there's also a lot of people that didn't vote. People that stayed home.
Right.
Notwithstanding the extra 10,000 voters, a lot of people that I thought would be showing up, didn't show up. Now those same people again. Yeah. In fact, my staff wants me to change my phone because I give my phone number to everybody, and people are calling me nonstop. How can I play? Where can I contribute?
Right.
I need yard signs.
Do you think that one of the biggest thing of people not going out to vote is because how they're like not happy with the city of Miami? Is it the fact? Is it now people seeing a new shed of light between you and the other candidate that you're coming out? Or
a lot of people, I think, just had Miami fatigue. Look, if you had been in a coma and woken up the day November the 4th, you would have seen half the candidates were the same names from 30 years ago. And I think a lot of people just said, "Oh, look at this, man! It's the same people." Jeez, I'm not okay. Okay, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? So what I want to do is I want to get people excited. I'm not to this day. I am not a politician. I was not a politician when the 6 of us were up there. When the 12 of us were up there. If I had wanted a big title and I had wanted all these wonderful things, I would have stayed in Washington. To your point, the president endorsed me. I could have stayed and worked at any number of high-level positions in D.C., but I elected to come here. This is my home. This is where my children were raised. This is where my grandson was born. I'm not leaving here. Miami stuck with me.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, so.
Any final questions for
my final question is like I always say, if people want to make a difference, you have to go out there and vote. Right. And again, Emilio, that was one of my biggest, questions in the sense of like, how do we get those voters now to say, okay, this is why you got to vote for me. But I want you to tell that audience,
tell the public,
there,
brother, why
is it so important for in this December early voting or vote? Go and make your vote count.
In the November 4th elections, people voted across the board for 13 candidates for any number of reasons, whether they were voting for the environment or they were voting for family or they were voting as a favor or some nostalgic view of a candidate. But right now we're down to the wire, and people have asked me, keep going. how can I help? Where can I help? Where do you need me? And this is constant. Miami needs change. Miami needs to be better than itself. We are better than ourselves. We're going to take over day one. There is no transition. We're going to change the tone and tenor. Miami will stop weaponizing itself against its residents. Miami will take care of our families. Miami will be the leader of homestead exemption tax reform. Miami will be as crime-free as we possibly see, and Miami will shine. When Emilio Gonzalez takes over, se acabó relajo.
There you go.
There you have it. That was a good one.
You got it, Dan Miami. No,
Couple
I
days
want
left.
no complaints. You're the one that has the power. So all those city of
Yes.
Miami residents, this is your moment. If you
Vote.
want whatever you want to do, just go out and vote.
Oh, thank you.
Emilio. Good luck, brother.
Thank you,
Thank
buddy.
you so much.
Appreciate
for your
it.
time. Thank you for coming back on.
Thank you.
Emilio Gonzalez, make
And
sure
we'll
to
be
vote.
back.
Thank you, guys.